Hello, hello, welcome guys back to a full flap sim stream in the mighty 737. Uh, Planning on going from Baltimore to Portland, Maine to shoot the harbor visual, and then I looked out the window and I don't know if the weather's going to support the harbor visual. So we'll take a look, but we've got some add-on scenery for Baltimore. It's looking pretty good. Um, So I'm pretty excited for this flight. Good to get back in the seat here. Virtual Flight Diaries, welcome, man. Harbor Visual, yeah. If we have the weather for the Harbor Visual, we're going to shoot it. If not, we may change the weather because I don't know. Not really feeling ILS to a quitter today. Bill's Mafia, screw realism, just the weather. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, man. Brand F7 pilot, welcome from Corpus Christi, Texas, man. Welcome. V1, I'd fly along, but I didn't have time to get a new burner. Insurgency, dude, I'm a little miffed. You didn't tell me it was triple point stay in Insurgency, man. Vodka, you're flying the Harbor Visual in the fog. YOLO, in a Learjet, dude. Awesome. We'll give Blanco Lirio a shout. Let him get a heads up on the the mishap that's about to happen. So we'll jump in here, get the battery turned on. Water's been telling me I take too long at the gate, so we're going to get this thing going. We got batteries looking like 24 volts. Ground power is looking good. We'll get that on the bus. Get the leading edge devices checked. We'll get the INSs cooking here. Get nav. Get the dome light on so we can see. EECs are looking good. Oxygen, we need 1,000 psi. We've got that. Landing gear lights are on. Get the flight recorder tested. That's good. V1's captain today, so we're going to probably need the flight recorder. We got stall warning test. Oh, those haven't had a chance to power up yet. Okay. Coming down to the tablet, we'll get all of our Navigraph all set up. Why's my phone blowing up here? Does that work? I hope it's not work. All right. We got the let's see. We're gonna go airport. We got the 10.9 page coming up. We got the SID. We're doing the duckpin 1 RNAV out of here. No star. We're gonna put 3-3 right as the option for coming home. If anything goes south for the arrival into PWM, we're on the SCOGS 10.9 page, and for the approach, we're gonna select both the ILS and the Harbor Visual to 2.9, and we'll see what happens for us there. So, Jay Newberry, good afternoon. Welcome, dude. A tipsy penguin. Early shots already. My goodness. Yeah. It's going to be a fun one, man. I'm pretty stoked about this. Got a Southwest Airlines repaint on the PMDG, and it's been I feel like it's been forever since we did a stream. So, excited to get back into it. Here we go. Let's see. We need to get the route loaded in the tablet. There it is. And we'll get the position aligned. We got BWI. Old Turk in the U.S. ain't in the stream because he's a fair weather supporter of the channel only, but we did get some payware scenery for him. We've got BWI flight plan request. Sim brief. We're going to load the payload, set the fuel, and select the route. Mickey G in the house. Welcome, dude. The OG Boeing driver himself. Welcome, dude. Thanks for dropping by, man. We'll get the route cooking. Going out as Southwest 1911. And we'll hit load. And route uplink loading. PMDG definitely modeled the processing time on the old box to get the data link. All right, there we go. Execute. That is all set. Okay, for the departure, we're going to go departures out of here. We're taking off runway 28 on the duckpin 1 Ross transition. And then for right now we're going to load the ILS into Portland, but we might change that game plan en route. If we do, then we'll go over that change. It'll make the descent a little more interesting. So, got the route. set up there, perf init, request that data. That'll all data link in. We do need to check the flight plan altitude. We're going up to 33 today, so a little bit lower than typical. Okay, so we'll load that, execute, and put 33 in the box there. Execute that change, and our performance initialization is complete. Legs page, route data, we can request the winds, get that information pulled in. Pete Ski, welcome, dude. Welcome, welcome. Last minute reserve call out for us, man. This is pretty realistic for an airline pilot on reserve. You know, you're just going about your life, and you get a phone call, and you got 2 hours to be at the airport and firing up the sim, or the actual airplane in that case, the sim for us today. So forecast, load, get that all set up. Gotta silence my phone. Chad's blowing up over here. All right. Progress page, we can check 506 air miles. That checks with the SimBrief flight plan that says 451, but we do have a vector leg in there, so that checks good. Then we'll go through all of our VNAV pages. The climb, we'll climb at 320, just 320 and 0.79, get out of here a little bit faster. Actually, you know what? With the storms, we may have some turbulence climbing out of here, so we're going to do 280 or 0.76. So that's our turbulence penetration climb speed. So we'll do that. We'll do 280 or 0.76 just for the ride out of here, and then we'll cruise at 0.76 as well, and then we'll actually accelerate as we go out. And then for the descent, for some reason the PMDG doesn't allow you to fill in the target speed here, or it doesn't display, but we'll do 0.79 and 300 in there, and then we'll execute it. And then once the IRS is aligned, it'll go ahead and populate there. V1, what's the difference between air miles and ground miles? Air miles, man, straight line, as the crow flies, right? Right, as the crow flies, or not taking roads. Simulate a slide emergency. Can we simulate a slide emergency on this? Dude, did you guys see the American Airlines, I think it was a MAX, that they blew the tires on takeoff and had to evacuate everybody on the runway? That was insane. Baltimore to Portland, Southwest 1911, taking off runway 28. 230 knot speed restriction out of here. The legs page looks good. Fix page, PWM. We've got an arrival in there that has VNAV, so we don't need a 30-mile ring, but we'll put a 15 and a 10-mile ring around Portland. And then we'll also check, we'll go, we covered this in one of the initial streams, but the alternate destinations page. So, SimBrief automatically data links these in here. In real life, they don't, but you'll see. And actually, Big Sim, let me know if the bus has a page like this. You can come in here. It's a fuel computer, and you say Boston via direct, and this will give you your fuel if we went directly to Boston from our current position. This one we're going to change. We're going to go. We're going to go here to missed approach, and now it's going to be Boston via missed approach. The distance is 85 miles. We're going to add 40 miles to that. We'll say 120. And now once the IRS is aligned, what this will give us is a fuel if we go to PWM, execute the published missed approach, climb to 120 miles. Yeah, we could do that at 12,000. Put that in there. And that's saying that with a 15.0, if we flew via our flight plan to PWM, shot the ILS to 29, went missed, flew the published missed, flew directly to Boston, we would arrive at Boston with 6.2. V1, that's called secondary flight plan. Well, Oh, the secondary perf function and everything on the Airbus. Okay, got it. So in the Boeing, the secondary has nothing to do with fuel planning. I gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, so that's the secondary perf in the Airbus. Okay. So in this case, it's the alternate destinations page, and you can put in however many alternate destinations that you would want. So you could have Boston, Portland. Trying to think what else would be up there that you would go to. But anyway, you could fill this with up to 5 different airports, and this is also useful on an ETOPS route when you're looking at your diverts there on ETOPS. Cool. Okay, let's go ahead, now that the IRSs are aligned. The other thing, chat, that I'm pretty excited about is I finally found some PFD colors that mirror the actual 7.3 that, or at least the ones we have at work. So I'll drop these hex codes in the Discord. But I was pretty happy to find these, and so I've updated all my PMDGs to this color, because it's a little better than I think the default color. I'm really a big fan of the fact that PMDG allows you to edit the colors to your monitor and configuration in the FMS. It's a pretty cool feature. All right, that's all squared away. So we can come up to the overhead. We can run the stall warning tests. Okay, do that. Yaw damper comes on. Crossfeed is closed. We'll get the left forward tank pump on. APU gen, we'll monitor that since we're about to get that online. Coming down here, get the emergency lights closed, get the seatbelt signs on. Window heats come on. All right. Big sim, pay attention here. Engines on, electric pumps off. There we go. There's your hydraulic refresher today. Cockpit voice recorder looks good. Trim air is on. We can temperatures all stay in 12 o'clock. That's fine. We're going up to 33. We said. There we go. 33. Landing altitude to 50. Auto pressurization. We'll get the logo light on. Everything else stays off. FO's flying, so ignition right. We'll fire up the APU. Mode control panel. Flight directors can come on. We're doing an LNAV departure out of here. We're going up to an altitude of, I think it's 14,000. Yeah, 14,000 out of here, 230 max. All right, and this is actually a good time to take a look at the departure off of runway 28 rather. Climb on hang at 285, direct Bosley below 230. All right, so 285, and we got some speed restrictions that are all in the box. All right, we'll check those speed restrictions in a second. So this is going to be an interesting departure because we're going to have 285 in the heading, but we're actually going to have the ILS for 33 right in the courses, so that's going to be 335. 335. Turk in the house. Welcome, man. Or they can get the colors right like the Phoenix. I know, man. Phoenix keeps changing their answer on the PFD colors, man. It was one color in the first one, another in the update 2. BFU changed it again. It's like Microsoft, man. Everyone's as real as it gets. And then 111.95 in the nav radios. So 111.95, and then remember we want a parked frequency in the radios for takeoff, so that we're not we don't have ILS guidance as we're rolling down the runway if we don't want it. All right, there we go. 111.95. That's all set. MCP is set. We'll check the annunciator lights here. There we go. Annunciator lights are all good. Standby. We'll put those on approach. Auto. Reset. Make sure we have 16 quarts of oil. 12 minimum, which we do. Hides. Ooh. All right. Hey, look at this. PMDG threw us a curveball. We have 0 hide quantity, so we actually need to reset our hydraulic quantities. And this is how you tell, is the RF Q. So we'll go ground maintenance, refill hydraulic fluid. Engine oil's fine. We'll just do everything while we're here. There we go. All right. Hide quantity is good. Back to engines. Get the auto brakes on. Anti-skid in-op. So if you get this light, what you can do is you can go back to off. It's because our brake accumulator or our brake pressure is bled down. So we can turn on the B pump, get the brake pressure to come on. And now we have a good check. The other thing is that if you're if it's windy and the flight controls are flopping back and forth, you can turn the B pump on and it'll stop the flight controls from whipping around. Okay, we'll run a quick Jip Whiz test. Sourdough Man, good afternoon, welcome, man. All right, we'll get the parking brake set. We got our super reliable, definitely not at fault for a mishap 787 style fuel cutoff levers here in the new 7.3. Check our squibs. Check our fault in-op light. Do our fire test. That looks good. Fire test down here. Mickey G, what? The Citation X doesn't have an overhead? Yeah, fake jet, dude. Fake jet. It's not a real jet if it doesn't have an overhead panel. Changed my mind. All right, we're going to go weather radar, test.
Monitor radar display.
All right. And then we're going to have to grab our PDC, which we don't have. So I'm going to pull up the ATIS. That's going to be 27.8. And
visibility 8. Thunderstorm. 2,600 Caterpillar Nimbus. Ceiling 5,500 broken. 1,000 broken. 5,000 broken. Temperature 25. 2.24. Altimeter 2996. Arrival aircraft expect ILS or visual approach runway 33 left. Runway 33 right. Departing runway 28. 33 right. Notices to air mission VFR aircraft take direction of flight and aircraft type. Simultaneous approaches are being conducted to power runways. Read may call runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information X-ray.
okay, X-ray.
Baltimore, Washington International Airport ATIS information X-ray 2144 Zulu. Wind variable at 5. Visibility 8. Thunderstorm. 2,600.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see. So we will. We did all that. We'll get the transponder set here in a second. That's in standby. We'll test it. Trims would be tested, and we'll go ahead and get our clearance. APU is up. We'll get the power swapped over. We'll start a clock, and then we will get our ground stuff released, and I'll grab us a clearance. We're using the Magic Bear ref key set 2998.
Radar contact passing 1,300. Climb maintain 17,000.
So 17,000 Delta 952.
Okay.
Delta 960, I'm sorry. Climb maintain flight level 190.
190 Delta 952.
Atomic approach Southwest 1911 IFR to Portland on request.
Southwest 1911, can you do me a favor really quick and refile that with the call sign SWA?
Yeah, no sweat. We'll do it.
Thank you.
Okay. Stand by.
American 3066, runway 19, taxi to Kilo 1 Juliet, cross 15.
Go back here. Edit.
Who else?
We'll have to have a talk with our dispatchers here.
Blue Streak 5162, runway 19, left turn on a Kilo there, cross 15, join Juliet.
Alright, do that. File. Alright. This used to happen in the military too, and you'd have to the controllers are always like, hey, I need you to shut your airplane down and go back into base ops and refile your flight plan. It's like, nah, dude, I'm just going to go VFR. All right. Be pilot, disconnect, reconnect, SWA, connect. There we go. Try it now. Hey, there we go. All right. SWA 1911, PWM. Okay, so we're cleared as filed. He wants us at 35, so we'll put 35 in here. Affirm, yeah, it came through, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, 6533. 6533 is all set. All right, that's all good. Now we just have to check the legs page here. All right, 230 knots or below. Let's check the departure. Do a quick departure brief. All right, so off of runway 28, climbing a heading of 285. That's in the box. Direct Bosley at or above 7. At or below 230. We got that in the box. And a left turn direct Arwin between 4 and 7. Again, 230 or not. Knots or below, and then Dupkin at or above 5. That's all in the box. All right, so that is all squared away. So we are set. We can get the air going here. So we got APU bleed on, packs on, isolation valve open, dual bleed. That's normal. All right, AT&T on the air panel should do it. Alrighty, chat. We are all set. So we can call for push and start. See, is all of our ground stuff pulled? All right, let's get the jet bridge out of here. We'll go ground ops, release all, ground connections. Double check, always double check the power before you pull it. And we can get rid of the air conditioning, we can get rid of the ground power, we can get rid of the jetway. All right, and then they locked us in, and the flow is pumps, doors, cockpit door, and TCAS. All right, there we go. Baltimore ground, Southwest 1911, push and start.
Southwest 1911, stomach, push onto taxiway, Tango's through, face south.
All right, Tango facing south, and should we expect? Can we expect 28 or 33? Right.
You can expect 28.
All right, 28. Face south on Tango, Southwest 1911. All right, facing south, so that'll be nose right, tail left. So we'll go back here. FS actions, pushback. We'll go standard L, nose right. Here we go. Out of here. All right, beacons on. Brakes released. Here we go. All right, and we'll run our performance data for 2.8.
Clear to push, tail left, release the brakes.
All right, real world, the company would just be sending this to you. All right, calculate. Flap 5. Can we do flap 1? Yeah, there we go. We'll do flap 1. All right, we're out of here. All right, back to the chat. Cam MD80, welcome, dude. How you doing? John Seifert, Iveo Premium delays, not so premium after all. Kevin Reed, I did hear about that. Delta Flight 2809 from Mini to SFO. The co-pilot was arrested at the gate. Yeah, I heard that. I heard like 4 DHS agents storm the cockpit and dragged him off. So that's juicy. Yeah, that's wild. Can you imagine that as a passenger? You just see cops roll onto the airplane and drag the pilot away. All right, you know what, chat? We'll do a single engine taxi out of here. We should be light enough, so we'll go ahead and kill the packs and ground number 2.
Police Rig 5162, rate of contact pass from 1,200 now, climb and maintain flight level 190.
Oh, we about to lose Mickey G. Is he going to run out of fuel? All right, there's 27%.
Alright, push complete. Go ahead and set the brakes.
There's the brake. Okay, the brake is set. Thanks. Max motoring. Spar and engine valves.
Yeah, of course, you guys got it. We're disconnecting the tow bar now. Stand by.
There's light off.
Right, the tow bar is disconnected. We're disconnecting the interphone now. Pin will be on the right side. We'll see you guys. Take care.
John Seifert, single engine taxi to the southwest. We should be taxiing at Mach 0.6. Well, we can do both. Porque no los dos. There we go, 56%. Starter cutout. Okay, so we're going to go isolate, ventilate. Now we're going to run the after start flow. Generator comes on, probe heats come on, anti-ice we don't need. That pack can come on. APU is going to stay on. Center fuel pumps we don't need. Check the recall. We should have 3 lights. We got air conditioning, hide, and electric. Flap 1. Southwest style control check. Bill's Mafia, the sim sounds are kind of low. They are all the way up, unfortunately. So here's what I can do. I can bring my voice down. I can bring my voice down and VATSIM down, and then hopefully you can bring your YouTube volume up. Unless, let me try this. No, that just changes my volume. Yeah, so let me turn my mic down a little bit, and then hopefully you can turn your YouTube volume up a little bit, and have a better balance there. All right, so there's flap 1. We're in front of the engine today, so we are ready to taxi. Oh, all right, full flaps now coming in about 2x5. Yeah, so I lowered my own volume so I could hopefully not drown out the sim, but I'll bump it back up. Let me know how that is in the chat. All right, so we've got, let's see, generators on, probe heats are in auto, anti-ice is not required, bleed air panel is set, flaps 1, and auto brakes RTO. After start check is complete. Now you can't hear me. All right, go back to how it was. Sorry. All right, I'm gonna have to get with somebody smarter than me on streaming. If only there was somebody who could mentor me on the OBS stuff, and we'll go from there. All right, headsets are set, so we're good to go there. Now we can do our performance data. So, what did we come up with here? We came up with flap 1, TO136. So we'll go into the box. Perfinit, that's all set. We're going to go TO1 with a 36 D rate. Flap 1. CG, and then that gives us 50, 51, 56, which pretty much jives. TO136, we got flap 1 set. We'll put 156 up here. Alright, we got 156, and the trim is going to be 6.0, so we'll set that. Watch your knees. That's always a great call. Hey, watch your knees. Right as the trim wheel starts spinning, you hit them anyway. Alright. We're good. Performance data is set. Salute received. Set flap 1. Flaps are 1. Ready for taxi. There we go. Camp, nope, you're right. I was about to forget it. Thank you for the heads up. All right, we're out of here. No, we're not. We have to call for ground because we're on ATC. Baltimore ground, Southwest 1911, taxi with X-ray. Over. Baltimore ground, Southwest 1911.
Southwest 1911, Potomac, how do you hear?
Got you loud and clear now, taxi with X-ray.
Southwest 1911, runway 28, taxi at Tango, uniform 1.
All right, Tango, uniform, run 1, runway 28, Southwest 1911. Okie doke. Let's see, so that is going to be... oh, what happened? There we go. Tango, uniform, uniform 1. All right, so the inboard, the uniform, and then uniform all the way down. Got it. All right, here we go. We're out of here. Brakes released. And we'll get rolling. Taxi light comes on. Here we go. Yeah, it's a shame that the sounds are coming in low for y'all because the Bora sounds pack is really fantastic. Okay.
It was Washington Center and myself are closing up area, leaving my airspace. Radar service is terminated for changing comments.
All right. Vodka was flying along.
Service anyways, I think I got some homework to do. Have a good one.
He might be out of here already. Took us a second to get off the ground. But now we do want time to get about a 2-minute warm up on the engine, so we'll start. We'll start the other one when we turn on the uniform. That should give us enough time. Daniel, front fuel control engine right. Not sure what you're saying there. Fuel control in the right engine is running. It is running. We're single engine taxiing, so the left engine is off right now. Alright, there's a uniform up there. Ooh, vodka's all the way up to 390. Are you flying the Citation? No, you're in the Learjet. Right? Learjet? Does Southwest single engine taxi ever? I feel like I've only been on them when they're 2-engine taxiing at a bunch of knots. Single engine taxi at Southwest is against SOP. Really? No kidding. Well, I guess we'll fire up number 1 then. Alright, there we go. Interesting. I wonder why it's against their SOP. Alright, this should be uniform. Yep. You'd think that a company that prides himself on efficiency and stuff would be all about the old single engine taxi. Alright, there's 25%. Fire it up. Okay, sparring engine valves. Oh, you just messing you. Oh, Mike85 can't stick around. Just drop by to leave a like. We'll catch the replay. Dude, thanks, man. Appreciate you stopping by, dude. I really appreciate that. All right, there's 56%. Start the warm-up timer. Waiting for EGT rollback. There it is. All right, we'll get generator online. Anti-ice, pack, isolation valve, APU. And we should be good to go. We're in a quick recall. Check's good. All right. Nav start check is complete. Get it up to Southwest standard taxi speed here. It is hard to taxi at 90 knots with only 1 engine, so. So I never sit up here in Flight Sim because I like the view of the trailing edge flaps better, but I want to hear the buzzsaw. Clear for takeoff 28, Southwest 1911. Alright, we're cleared for takeoff. Lights come on. We'll run them before takeoff. Checklist, continuous, auto throttle, run the throttles. They look good. And TARA, we're cleared for takeoff. Do it Southwest style. Time to put the tri-tip on. Ooh, tri-tip. That sounds good. Thought we would have taken off in the first 90 minutes. Oh, man. Man, there's no satisfying you people. I guess this isn't a very Southwest lineup, is it? They just kind of book it and go. All right, here we go. We got engines coming up to 40% forward on the yoke. Look at that engine warm-up time. We timed that perfectly. They are stable, warmed up, toga. And one toga.
Airspeed alive.
Wash that forward pressure out by 80 knots. Neutral on the yoke. Throttle hold, thrust normal.
V1.
Rotate. Nice smooth rotation. There's the dead band. Hold it, click, and haul into the flight directors. Positive right gear up. Trimming, fly with.
Southwest 1911, radar contact, passing through 1000, turn left direction, Swan, climb and maintain 14000.
All right, left turn direct Swan, 14000, Southwest 1911. All right, Swan, so we'll come back up here, Swan to the top, looks good. And you said you wanted the left turn direct Swan?
Left turn.
All right, left turn direct Swan, Southwest 1422, or 1911. All right, left turn, so we'll do it this way. We'll come around to the left. We'll click the autopilot off, we'll manually fly it, ignore the flight directors. And now we'll re-click Swan, there it is, that way, and back to command. All right, we're accelerating, there's flap up speed, flaps up after takeoff checklist.
Southwest 1911, I'm closing up, watching, topping off as well.
All right.
Terminated, frequency change, real tight.
Good night, thanks for the control. Alright, continuous off, off, APU is off, off, landing gear to off, bleeds and pressurization panel all check, good. We are out of here. T2Co, what's up, man? Not much. We just took off out of Baltimore, head direct Swan up to Portland, Maine for the Harbor Visual. Cam, supposedly these guys take off in VNAV and then go. Wait, and then go speed intervene and. Huh. Yeah, I don't necessarily understand that. There's a bunch of different ways to take off in the 7.3 as far as the MCP goes. The vast majority of operators take off in LNAV VNAV, from what I understand. I don't know exactly why we don't at my company, but I've heard that it was something to do with the software anomaly when the VNAV off the ground functionality first was available. But now taking off in VNAV and then going speed intervent, I don't understand the logic behind that. But I'd be interested to hear it from a Southwest guy though, and kind of see what the logic is. Southwest is a V1 by the 1,000 footers, even on a 5,000 foot runway. They just take the turn faster. Yeah, that ain't that the truth, dude. Alexander, it's just, you know, there's a lot more to do. Lot more hands-on, I think. So, okay. Well, he basically destroyed this star for us because we're going direct to Swan, left turn, and then up to Bross. So the only thing we care about now is, well, we don't even care about high fly because he gave us climb maintain 14000. So what we can do is we can get rid of this by hitting the alt intervene button. So Go to the legs page so you know what you're deleting, but you see our next altitude restriction is high fly. If we hit the alt intervene button once, it goes away. And then the box will recalculate. So we are now climbing and maintaining 14,000, accelerating to 280 or 0.76. There we go. All right, 280 knots. We're accelerating up. Temperature is 21, so we're still good without the anti-ice on. Turn the weather radar on. That'd be a little on edge flying through clouds like this in real life on departure. Want to kind of see what you're getting into. There's a breakout. $2020 looking juicy. I know, man, dude. For a so-called outdated sim that runs on a 2080 Ti while streaming, she's pretty good. I'll be a yellow sim supporter until they turn the servers off, man. Look at that breakout. Just drove by BWI yesterday on the way back from Philly. Nice. Yeah, dude. Spent my college years out here, man. Love it. Beautiful part of the country. Tituka, when are the memberships coming? Heard you're talking possible one-on-one trainings. Never flew the 7.3, so might be interested. Yeah, dude. Soon. TM. Months, not years. I'm currently working on some emergency procedures tutorial stuff for the 7.3. Let me verify ATCs offline so we don't get violated here. Yeah. All right. So we're just going to go all the way up to 35. So here's 35. And alt intervene. And 1 VNAV speed. Up we go. All right. Get the retracts off. Check the pressurization. Yeah, so I'm currently recording some emergency procedure stuff like V1 cuts, single engine approach tutorials, some emergency procedure stuff. That's all going to be on the members only side of the house, and then DCS as well. And then yeah, I'm open to doing some one-on-one stuff. Like maybe I'll jump in Discord if you have somebody basically stream their flight and give feedback on that kind of stuff in Discord. So. Yeah, totally willing to do stuff like that. So I'm just trying to put together the content so that there's actual stuff there when people pick up a membership. So Southwest 1911 maintain max forward speed for ground branch later. You know what? That seems like a valid instruction. So let's go to target speed. We'll do 330 or 0.79er. Let's go. Cruise at 0.79. And descend at 0.79 or 320. There we go. See, V1, the reason there's a Mach number in and airspeed here is because of a concept called changeover altitude that we can talk about a little later. ATC's on PWM. Oh, okay. So Tituko, DCS. I gotta figure out DCS because I don't want to go to jail. I'm a little less inclined to give DCS lessons, just because of the possibility of accidentally saying stuff from a past life that I shouldn't. So. I might do some DCS streams, but probably not as heavy on the tutorial side of the house on DCS. ATC's on at PWM vodka. Oh, cool. Okay. Just approach or what? Let me pull up the map so I know what to expect here. Oh, cool. Ground and approach. Tight. Oh, just ground. Oh, okay, so just ground at PWM. Got it. Weather in Portland is brutal. 1,000 overcast and 1.5 viz. Okay, well, we might. I feel like vodka kind of left us in the dust here. So we might jump off network and just do the visual. Might be the way to do it. We'll see. I'm leaning toward. We'll see what the poll says. Yeah, dude. I'm telling you, the clouds in 2020. I mean, you know, for those of us running potato machines, this sim is pretty awesome. You even got the COVID stains on the window. Oh, 18,000. We got standard. We'll shut all the lights off. There we go. Ding 'em. All right. Here we go. Then we'll put our sunshades up. There we are. Got our nest built. Your Sim CFI, welcome, dude. How's it going, man? I've been watching a bunch of your CRJ streams, trying to figure my way around the new Aerosoft, dude. Really cool stuff. Loving the CRJ. It's way better than the Citation X. All right, so let's see how the poll's doing here. All right. So Harbor Visuals is 66%, ILS is at 34. Okay, so we're gonna change the weather and do the old Harbor Visual once we get up to Portland. So that being said, we're gonna have to take a look in the box because the arrival is going to drop us into Sappy at 3,000. So we'll plan on flying the arrival, and then the Harbor Visual, which I probably should have looked at before I offered to fly it. Let's see. So you basically come up the coast here, fly through this pass, then gritty, and pick up the, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Cashin and gritty in the FMS. So what we're going to do is we're going to go, let's see, we're going to cycle this to plan mode. We're going to go to the legs page. We're going to step all the way out to, let's see where we're going here. And then on the legs page, let's see, how do I want to do it? Sappy is the end of the arrival. I don't think we're going to go all the way to Sappy, but we'll put, we'll go Cashin, so CSHNN. SHNN. I should be able to put A there. There we go. Then we'll delete it. Okay, so that's a good way you can create a route discontinuity. Let me show you how to do that again. So originally we had Cashin right at Sappy, but I want a discontinuity because Sappy is the end of our clearance limit and we're actually cleared there. So what you do is just type A, put it on top of Cashin, select anything, waypoint, that's fine. And that puts a discon after what you inserted. So just execute and then delete the A, and now you have a discon between Sappy and what you input. So and then gritty, GRITI, can go right there. So if we zoom in on our ND, Sappy is the end of the arrival. Cashin and Gritty are right there. So basically we're going to come picking up. We're going to come in from this way to Cashin, fly to Gritty, and then pick up the harbor visual. So that's the plan. We may, once we get a little bit closer, kind of figure out our bearings, we may just go direct Cashin and then come in and fly it. But that'll be good enough for SA purposes for now. So, all right, back out. There we are. We are above all the weather, so I'm going to turn the weather radar off so that we're not frying ourselves with any more radiation than we absolutely have to. SimCFI, yeah, dude, of course. It's always cool seeing other streamers, you know, streaming airplanes, because I don't know, I enjoy flying different airplanes on the simulator, but it's sort of a realism breaker for me if I'm not doing it the right way. You know, so it's cool to fly an A320 after watching P1 streams. It's cool flying the CRJ, watching your streams, and kind of figuring out that it's being done correctly, or at least somewhat close to correctly. Titucco, you're cleared, so you wouldn't have to kill me, but I understand the need to know. Yeah, exactly, man. So, I might do some streams, you know, of like just administrative flying the F-16 around, or messing around in the in DCS, but I'd probably lean away from the tutorial stuff. TBM Life, flying the CRJ gets easy after a while thanks to SimCFI's tutorials, but the Challenger 650 still gives me trouble. They're the same airplane though, aren't they? I thought the 650 was just a short CRJ. I guess the cockpit's different maybe, right? The avionics are different. Okay. So our climb rate's kind of slowed down here just because we're pretty much right up at the barber pole. Real world, I wouldn't be climbing at 330. I've climbed at 320 before. Real world, just to try and get us on our way when we had a super late departure. But you know, the reality of a lot of the airline flying is you make up all your time on the ground between flights. Once the wheels come off the ground, there's generally not a whole bunch of time to be made up in the airplane. So even if you're doing a transcon from like Atlanta to Seattle, and you talk ATC into straightening the line, and over Montgomery, Alabama, they say cleared direct to Seattle, it might cut off 7 to 10 minutes, maybe. So typically you make up all your time getting pushed off the gate early, taxiing, not getting stuck in taxi delays, all that kind of stuff, right? So you typically, getting direct or anything like that, or flying faster. I mean, you've got guys who will say, hey, we're going to fly 330 everywhere because I want to make my commute. Well, if you look at it, the difference between flying 330 knots in the climb versus 300 knots in the climb is like 2.5 minutes over the course of a trip, right? So, I mean, unless you've rolled up to your commute and the door was literally shutting, which I'm sure has happened, it's not going to make a difference. So. Digital Merc, welcome, dude. Yeah, Vodka, we're going to do the harbor visual as well. I'm just going to edit the weather a little bit. Level 7, welcome, dude. SimCFI, you like the RJ more than the X? Dude, part of me is just giving Big Sim a little bit of grief because I don't know. The Citation X doesn't really do much for me. I don't know why, from a airplane perspective, the Citation 10 just never really did it for me. I like the old Citations, the straight wing Citations, but something about the 10 just, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, V1, I don't doubt it, right? I'm certain that people have rolled up to like the door closing, right? But I don't know. It's one of those things like if I had $1 for the amount of times I've done 330 knots and then gotten a delay vector from approach, right? So it just kind of seems like a lot of work for nothing. But yeah, SimC5 330 saves 2 minutes, then you get slowed down. Yeah, exactly right. Now, I mean, if you're first in line, you're looking at the TCAS and there's absolutely nobody in front of you, and the weather's beautiful and you're doing the straight in, you can just do, 330 to 250 to final approach speed and land, then yeah, go for it. But I've not had super good luck with that. John Seaver, yeah. So when the flight's delayed and the pilot gives a PA saying we'll try and make up time in the air, they're lying. I mean, yeah. Now, I've never had the ability to make up more than like 5 minutes airborne. Now, where you can make back time is airlines generally overbook the flight time, right? Like they'll add 30 minutes of slop in there. And so if you get off the ground at your intended takeoff time, then you are making time up because you're basically not burning through your contingency time, right? So, but as far as, taking shortcuts, flying faster, that kind of stuff, like there's just not that much difference. Because I mean, think about it, right? So the speed of sound is what, about 600 some knots, 650 knots. So call it 700 knots for easy math. We're doing 0.79. If we did 0.81, which is uncomfortably close to the barber pole, but if we did 0.81, that's 12 knots of increased speed, right? Over like an hour-long flight, that's 12 miles faster. You're talking minutes, right? Giving away all the trade secrets about making up time. Well, dude, I mean, hey, I don't know, whoever you work for, you guys may have different ways, right? Like, but the whole making up time thing, I don't know. Komet, funny enough, I just landed in PWM a half hour ago. Nice, awesome, man. We're heading on up there. I'm kind of excited for the Harbor Visual. Your Cancun to DFW is overblocked by 50 minutes. Yeah, exactly, right? So, and that's the thing, right, is that you can typically, like, we keep our flight plan, we keep our flight plans over here on the iPad, right? And it shows you your off block time and your takeoff time. And, as we're taxiing out, you type in your off blocks time, and then you type in your takeoff time, and more often than not, the takeoff time, you'll shave off like 15 minutes, right? And that's how early you're going to be, is 50 minutes. Because the other thing is that the dispatchers, big data has all of the data from all of the flights that go across country every single day over the last 100 years or whatever, in 737 800s, and they have all of this stuff. So that those flight plans that they come up with are generally accurate to within 2 or 3 minutes and maybe 500 pounds of gas, right? Like, it's shockingly accurate how much they can nug down the times. Now ATC delays and that kind of stuff, that is what it is. But yeah, exactly. It's how the airlines pad their on-time record. Yep, just overblock it, man. Well, because you think about it too, the nature of the game is if you're the first flight out in the morning, generally you're going to be on time because it's the very first flight in the morning. But that airplane then turns around and goes into another flight, turns around and goes into another flight. So by if you're the flight that leaves at 10 p.m., that airplane had to go through 4 or 5 different flight segments that day in order to get to yours on time. So it's imperative that they block in extra time for the oh by the ways that happen. It's kind of a miracle that the whole thing works as well as it does when you really nug down into it. All right, it's pretty smooth air. We'll go ahead and turn the fast seatbelt sign off. Let y'all roam about the cabin. Team Vodka, your Lear is descending. Intentionally, or it's descending really well? Man, we got to get back in the Learjet. I don't know that we've done a Learjet stream on the channel. Yeah, we need to do one of those. John Seifert, most of the flights I've been delayed on have been caused by gate delays or gate not. Yeah, dude, that's 100%. Like I fly into Seattle a fair amount, and gate. I've sat on the ground for an hour waiting on a gate. Yeah, it's a lot of times that's the thing, is you can make up a lot of time on the ground. You can also burn a lot of time on the ground. So, water lunch has been picked up. Nice, man. Welcome back. TBM Life. I have a dispatch buddy from Wheels Up who says the Citation 10 is the fastest jet in their fleet from maintenance base to maintenance base. So I guess you can make up and lose time simultaneously. That's funny, man. I flew with a captain who flew a Citation 10 for a long time, and I thought that he would have very good things to say about it because, of all the publicity. I mean, it's a Citation, which they're generally pretty reliable. It's fast, 0.92. It's a good-looking airplane, but he was not particularly pleased with it. Like he didn't really have a bunch of good things to say about it. Said the cockpit was really small. Said that it was really difficult to land in a crosswind because if you put any sort of wing down, the wings were so swept that the wingtips could strike the ground because they're aft of the main gear, which I guess is the case in all swept wing jets, but that one specifically because it sits so low to the ground and the wing sweep is so drastic. So yeah, he wasn't particularly complimentary about the airplane, but it looks good. So VFD, you should pick up the Citation X. Well, so I would, but at this point I've doubled down so hard with Big Sim that I'm not going to pick it up. That I can't eat crow on that. Turk, what are you talking about? Only PMDG planes on the channel so far paid by RSR. Dude, I wish I was paid by RSR, man. I wish I was paid by. I mean, look at this, man. This is peak sim right here. Peak sim. Look at that. Now, granted, we have custom instrument colors, custom textures, but come on. Tell me that's not real life. I do love the NG panel. It's one of the last instrument panels that has, a whole bunch of switches, gauges, and stuff. I mean, even the A320 has a nice looking instrument panel, right? Where it's got a nice mix. The older ones have the backup instruments here and stuff, and the 320 has a fair amount of knobs and levers and stuff. But like the new airplanes, like the 220, where the whole instrument panel is nothing but screens. Because, I mean, this airplane has screens, for sure. But it's also got a bunch of switches and knobs and gauges and stuff like that. The new airplanes like the 220 and even the 73 MAX, where the screens take up the entire real estate of the instrument panel, I just don't think that it looks as good. Bill's Mafia, I did stream the 320 that one time. Yeah, I did do. I'm going to do another 320 stream because I like the 320. It's a fun airplane to fly. But the problem is that I don't, I'm your standard Boeing pilot flying an Airbus. Half the time I spend, I go, what's it doing now? So I'm going to have to enlist Big Sim to be a check airman for me. sit on the jump seat, complain about everything I'm doing wrong. Like yesterday, I did a flight in the 320, and the fuel system, or the fuel computer said I was going to land with negative 150 pounds of gas. So clearly, I messed something up there. What? Turk, my wife heard your comments about cockpit colors and said you wouldn't know. What? What's she talking about? BFU will change hearts and minds. Yeah. I'm excited about it. The funny thing is that with BFU coming every streamer and their cousin will be flying the 320, yeah. I'm interested to see the BFU specifically because, okay, now for someone like, V1, 330 driver, since he's basically 320 typed, all of those guys, I think the BFU is going to be good for them, right? Because they'll understand the airplane. For someone like me that's got a very surface level understanding of the 320, and it's just like, Airbus go burr, I don't know that I'll be able to feel a big difference. I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited for it, but I'm interested to see if a simmer like me will notice the update. Mickey, bid the 320 for captain, so when I get to your company, I can be your FO. Dude, come to the 7.3, man. Relive your Boeing glory days, dude. Oh. B1 says you'll be able to feel a big difference. Really? Like in flight dynamics overall, or in what would you say? All right, let's see if we can talk V1 into busting another NDA here. What would you say the biggest update is? Or actually, it's not even breaking NDA because a video came out today, right? Right? The BFU update came out. Can we watch that? Is that what's the legality of watching that on stream? Is that going to get me canceled? Big Phoenix update. It's a 30-minute long video. How long do we have to top a D? Oh, chat, we don't have time. 21:58. Oh, we're 10 minutes out from top of D. We actually have to start prepping. My potato PC will be able to run it at 90 frames a second. It's literally rebuilt for 24. I don't know what it'll be like on 2020, but 24 users literally have a new jet. Wow. Watch the video. Okay, I will watch the video off stream. That's pretty cool. Well, I will say this. If Big Sim, Airbus pilot is excited about the BFU, then I'm excited about BFU because it's going to be a great update. And I mean, Phoenix is the best airliner we have in the sim right now, right? So I'm sure that anything they come up with is going to be fantastic. It's coming on Tuesday or Wednesday. Okay. All right. They changed the flight dynamics in the flare totally. Well, that's good because I have not been able to land the 320 in the sim without smashing it into the pavement. Off stream's code for no, I won't watch it. No, maybe on Big Sim's channel that's code for no, I won't watch it. But I'm actually going to watch it. I'm going to get off of this. I'm going to watch BFU update, have some dinner, and then smoke you in Insurgency. So that's the plan for the rest of the evening. All right, we got to get squared away for top of D here. So we're going to build it. So let's go star and the SCOGS 3 RNAV. And I'm just going to check these points in the box. So we've got Fosty, Bilgy, Bowie, Sean, CK, SCOGS at 11, which, I'll show you guys something here in a second. Okay, all those points work out good. So there's an arrival in here. However, if there was not, what you can do is you can go into the fix page, and this is just good for situation awareness because if we're doing the visual approach, it's good to have an idea of what your energy state's going to be. So we're going to put a 30-mile fix ring here around PWM. Oh boy, we just got beeped. Auto ATC says cross Skogs at maintain 11 2991, and that's oh yeah, that's auto ATC. Okay, so we'll do Skogs at 11. There we go. 11, and it's out in front of us. Cool. So we've got a 30-mile fix ring, and then we're going to go to plan mode, and we want to be at 30 miles. We want to be 250 knots. Now this assumes we're going straight to the field, but we want to be 250 knots and 10,000 feet. And so what we can see is that the 30-mile fix ring, Skogs is basically right on it, and it's at 11. So there's no speed restrictions per se on the arrival. But what we want to do is we want to go to the legs page, and we're going to put Skogs at 250. Like that. And so that means that we're going to hit Skogs. It's going to allow VNAV to calculate a descent that'll put us at 250 knots, 11,000 feet at Skogs, which should be a perfectly fine energy package for intercepting the visual into PWM. So that's that. We'll delete the 30 DME ring just to clean up the ND a little bit. So we built it as far as the arrival goes. For the approach, we're going to back up the harbor visual with the ILS 29. So 109.9. Okay, 109.9. And then 290 over here. Okay. 290. 256 is the ILS decision altitude, so we can put that in. I mean, we're going to be on the visual, but it doesn't hurt to have it dialed in. There's 256. The mist is going to be up to 3. Okay, so that's that. And then what we're actually going to do is we're going to hit cache and gritty, and then fly in here. So the weather mins are 3004. So go weather, live weather. Oh boy, into the clacker. More of that. There we go. We'll just clear it up so that we can fly this approach. Okay, 3004. And what we'll do now is we'll go to the 10.9 page for PWM. Come on, slow down. There we go. And we'll set the HUD up as well. All right, so runway 29 is landing beyond threshold is 6325 long. So we'll go runway 6325, enter, and the elevation is at the threshold 42 feet. So elevation's 42, 63, 25. We'll do it in prime mode. Not going to use A3 because we're not doing the straight in ILS. But we'll drop the captain's HUD down and we'll turn the brightness down a little bit. I will say that one of the reasons I want to upgrade is to have a HUD again. I feel like the heads-up displays are pretty cool. Piece of kit. All right, so we've built it. We'll bug it. It's a fairly short runway, 6,300 feet, so we'll do flat 40, break 3. We bugged it twice. We braked it and briefed it. We kind of already talked about it, so I'm not going to rebrief it. And then we'll set up our ND for the descent, and we're all set. All right, cruising at 350 still. Oh, the other thing we want to do is we want to go descent page forecast, and we want to put in the arrival. Basically, this is the same thing as putting the arrival info in the Airbus. It'll be 2992 because I took the weather out. So we'll go 2992 in there, execute, and then thermal anti-ice. You know what? For today, we could actually do that. It'll shallow out the descent a little bit since we're flying a visual. We don't want to be super high energy. So what we'll do is we'll tell the jet, hey, I plan on using engine anti-ice between flight level 350 and 1,000 feet. And so it'll modify the VNAV path so that the VNAV path will be an idle power descent with engine anti-ice on. And then if we fly it with engine anti-ice off, it'll just basically have the throttles bumped up a percent or two. And so if the throttles are idle, it gives us a little bit extra slop to play with as we come downhill. We'll turn the fast seatbelt signs on as well and check the recall prior to heading down for any latent failures that were unenunciated at cruise. Okay. Back to the jet. VFD, the crazy thing is that VFU is free to owners. Yeah, I know. Phoenix, man, Phoenix's business model as far as providing free updates to the owners is incredible. And if I recall, I mean, it's been a second since I bought the thing, but I don't remember it being that incredibly expensive to begin with compared to some of the other products that we have. So, pretty cool. John Seifert, the sounds have been reworked. That is interesting because Phoenix sounds already sound fantastic. I mean, I typically spend most of my time on CFM Airbuses, but and the CFM sounds are spot on. They nailed it. Full flap sim finally landing full flap. Yeah, dude. Got goaded into it. Matthew O'Neill, welcome, dude. You just did this flight 2 hours ago. Yeah, I was kind of trying to think of a stream to do that we hadn't done yet that's on the East Coast. It's not, Vegas to LAX. And, so this was it. Oh, no, Turk. The BFU video is going to make you buy a new PC because a lot of stuff is 24 exclusive. No, don't tell me that. All right, let's start on down here. Send now, execute. We're 5 miles out from top of D. Sending now, down to 11. The problem with buying new hardware now is that even if you bought the fastest, most powerful PC in existence, which is, what, a 5090 or AMD's brand new card, you still can't run that sim on ultra settings. So I'm kind of waiting to, when BFU comes out and the PMDG for 24 comes out, I'd like to get the bleeding edge hardware at that point. Because I think the PMDG is probably, what, a year out, maybe 6 months out? What do you think? Mickey G, I'll dim the lights later and watch this BFU video. It better be good. Some guys say you can. Well, hey, someone in V1's Discord said you couldn't. Which one's fake news? All right, down we go. We're hitting Bilgi. Yeah, I think Boston's down. Oh yeah, there's Boston. So there's our divert, although the weather's clearing up nicely, so. Haven't been looking out the window at all. Got to fly, well, no, we're in Baltimore, so we started out north of Norfolk and Oceana and all that. Boston's a really cool airport. Just the way it's on the coast there with the city skyline. I mean, I guess it's no different than Kennedy, but for some reason Boston always seems more appealing to me than going to JFK. Maybe because I like Boston more than New York City. Okay, the last thing that we're going to do in the box to back us up on the visual is, so you've seen me talk about this vertical bearing FPA. So this is saying that the required vertical bearing to SCOGs is 2.6, and the flight path angle we need to get there at the energy package that we want is 3.6 degrees, and a vertical speed of 2,100 feet. This info is good on a visual because you can put in the runway, and basically it'll tell you when you're on a 3-degree glide slope, and you can just set and what vertical speed is required, because the 7.3 autopilot does not, unfortunately, like the Airbus, have a FPA, a flight path angle mode. It doesn't have it. So there's no way to command the jet to fly a flight path angle. But here, if you tell the jet what waypoint you want and what altitude you want to cross it at, it will give you the FPA and the corresponding vertical speed. Then you can just set that vertical speed in the window. It's a little bit of a workaround, but, you know, 1967. So, what you do is you take runway 29, put it in the scratch pad, go to the descent page, and by the way, PMDG is the only 7.3 I've found that simulates this correctly. Put a slash after it and drop it into the waypoint altitude. And now it's telling us that from our current position, we're on a 2.9 degree glide slope from runway 29, and to maintain that, and this is going direct, by the way, we need 2,400 feet per minute on the vertical speed. So right now, not incredibly useful, but as we configure for the visual, it'll potentially become more handy. Turk, you said you can't because sims are usually not that great optimized, but 2024 is definitely better than 2020 in TLOD optimization. Well, so is your theory then, should I be able to run 2024 at identical settings to my 2020 and have better performance? Because I have not found that to be the case. Matter of fact, I have found 2024 to be unrunnable on my PC. Okay, so we have 8,000 pounds of gas, planning on getting on deck with 6.6. If we take a look at our alternate destinations page, we can see if we turn around and went to Boston right now, we'd land there with 7.8, so we'd burn 300 pounds, which makes sense because it's right there. If we fly all the way up to PWM, do the approach, shoot the mist, turn around, fly to Boston at 12,000 feet, then we would land in Boston with a 5.1. 5.1, great number to get there with. Min-fuel on deck in an 800 3.6. Add 1,000 pounds for each pass. That's a 4.6. So 5.0 gives you your straight-in approach, and then gas for one more look before you're at emergency fuel. So that's a perfectly acceptable fuel number to be arriving with. Turk, I need the VRAM. Yeah, so the 28, basically the 2080 is the LIMFAC as far as VRAM. So, well, but I can't replace my video card because I've got a custom water cooling loop, so I don't want to have to rip that all up. Sinon, 737-800 with a HUD. Yeah, all of our 737s at my company have the heads-up display, regardless of whether they're 800s or 900 ERs. So that is accurate equipment per my company's equipment choices. Man, the Eastern Seaboard is beautiful. Is this Martha's Vineyard down here? What is this? Because I want to visit this. Okay, we'll get rid of airports on the display here. Here's 18,000. We'll click confirm standard 2992. That's good. We'll check the recall again. That's all set. We'll get the non-retract lights on. Get the wing lights on. We'll ding the flight attendants. All right. And we'll put the ILS up in both nav radios. Andre, your only option with Cat 3 is HUD, or they let it land by itself. No, you can do an auto land. You can do a Cat 3 auto land. With the HUD, you can do a hand flown Cat 2, and then there's a combined, I think 30 feet. I gotta look back at the mins, and to be frank with you, I don't have the HUD mins committed to memory. I just look them up in our charts when the weather gets down that low. But as far as a Cat 3, you can either hand fly in the HUD down to A3 down to 50 feet, or you can do an auto land, a Cat 3 auto land with both autopilots. This is taking us a little far offshore, so if I want to go direct to if I want to go directly to the visual, let's look at that. Let's go here. Let's go direct to Cashin. It's not an arc per se, but it doesn't look like there's any restrictions about going over this lighthouse. So, well, I guess directly over the lighthouse is noise sensitive, but we can go Cashin and then pick up Gritty and then pick up the Portland Harbor. So let's do that. We're going to go legs. We'll say that ATC cleared us for this. Actually, how far out are we? Yeah, we're 80 miles out. We'll hold off on that. Andre, yeah, I think SWA is not letting them. Yes, yeah. I think you're correct in that Southwest Airlines does not have auto land, and I think that is a remnant of the fact that when Southwest originally bought their NGs, they did not have VNAV or auto throttles, and so you couldn't have auto land without VNAV and auto throttles, or specifically auto throttles. So. But I think you're correct. Southwest Airlines has the HUD, and they can land with the HUD, but they cannot do an auto land. But I think they still have a 50-foot alert height, or a 50-foot decision height. I don't know. I got to look. And that's going to vary between operators also. So, all right, 11,000 feet. We're going to keep it going down to 3 now, because that's the bottom altitude on the arrival. Jet's coming down to 11. It's going to cross Skogs at 11 and 2:30. And what we're going to do is we're going to go Cashin. We're going to bring Cashin to the top. And is that where we want to go? Yeah. Execute. All right, we're in. We're going to go speed intervent, and we're going to slow it down to 250. There we go. All right, so now you can see our VNAV path is way above us, but we also don't have any altitudes in here. So we know that we were 30 miles out, 250, and our energy state's good. So this VNAV is a phantom VNAV because we have the wrong altitudes at Cashin. So we're going to go level change at 250 down to 3,000 feet, and that'll be a good energy package for us. Uh, 989JT, can you hit MFD engine? That's the real WN. Oh, you're saying the compressed engine config like this? Yeah, we can do that. I may have the external livery set to Southwest, but I configured the cockpit the same as my operator. All right, we'll get the heading zinged around here, 026. All right, 10,000 feet, retracts come out, and flight nav instruments are checked and the altimeters are set. Okay, so we can use the little banana here. And what are we going to do here? So I actually want to get rid of the ILS approach, so I'm going to go into the box. We're going to get rid of the ILS because it's got too much junk on it. We're just going to go runway 29. I'd like a 5-mile extension at 3 degrees. We're going to execute that, and that should clean up the ND significantly. Yeah, and you can see 3,000 feet. We're going to be a little bit high as we come in, so we need some speed brake. So we're going to pop the boards and keep getting on down. I'm going to change the view back to the trailing edge too, just for a little bit more juicy of a view. There we go. Matthew O'Neill had a real nice landing in Portland this afternoon with 88 feet per minute and 0.96. Let's see what you got. Okay. All right. Let's. That's a good challenge. I'll accept that. Let me fire up G's actually on flight recorder. That's a good reminder. Okay. Thomas Ray, I implore you to try and do some short field ops, 5,800 foot runway at 90 degrees Fahrenheit of Velo 738 in and out of Tweed, New Haven. It's a blast. Dude, awesome. That'd be a lot of fun. I'll throw that on the list. Man, at Velo, I'm starting to see more and more of their 7.3s all over the place. So that's pretty cool. Okay, 15 DME. This is about where we'd be wanting to do 210. But we wanna kind of start getting down here. So we're gonna go 240. And this is a technique for getting downhill. I see the runway. The runway's right there. So we're actually looking good on energy. So we'll slow to 210. Actually, you know what? Disregard that. I want to get down faster. So we're gonna keep it up at 250, and we're gonna go bombing downhill. Because the speed brakes on the 7.3 are significantly more effective at higher speed than they are at lower speed. So speed brakes out at 250 is going to be a faster descent than speed brakes out at 210. So this is a choice where you can go down or slow down. And in this case, going down, we'll go down first, then slow down. So we're going to get down to 3,000 feet at about 5 miles, and then we'll start ramping the speed back. Sam F., I am a range arc kind of guy. Mainly because I started this range arc thing at Flight Deck to Sim suggestion. you know, back when I was purely a flight simmer. And then I just carried it with me, and I found that it works very well in the actual airplane. But this is not a procedure, and there's references to these distances in my company pubs, but I think I'm one of the only people that actually puts it on the ND. Usually once a trip, a captain goes, what are the range arcs for? All right, so let's get slowed down here. We're going to bring it all the way back down to 180. All right, so there's man speed 180. 142 is our ref, so we'll come down at 150. All right, there's flap 1, flap 2. Go all the way back to flap 5. Keep the boards out. Okay. Keep it coming down to 2,000 feet. We can set 1,000 actually, so we'll set 1,000 for the visual. All right. And we'll go ahead and throw the gear. We'll go gear down. Speed brake in. Flap 15. Oh no, 330 driver's a big range arc kind of guy. Great. Alright, so we'll slow down to 150. Alright, and now as we're decelling, now we can go back to our vertical bearing, and we see that 4.7. So that's actually, you know, we're high. But that's fine, because we're going to go out. We're not going straight to the runway. But that's a good data point for us. Flap 30, flap 40 in the landing checklist. We got gear down 3 green. Flaps are coming to 40. Start switches are continuous. We'll say we've been cleared to land.
2,500.
Oh boy. Say we've been cleared to land. And the speed brakes are armed. Alright, so the landing checklist is complete. And now we're just going to click off the autopilot and we're going to fly visually here. So I'm going to leave the auto throttles engaged for now as we come downhill. Alright, autopilot clicking off. And we're basically going to fly between these two islands. I think my auto throttle's working here. Why is my auto throttle not... there we go. We'll click off and do it manually. Not sure why the auto throttle didn't grab that. But we'll accelerate here. We'll turn off the flight directors. Alright, but we're flying to Cashin. And we're just referencing that vertical bearing. Right now we're at 3 degrees, which is right around where we want to be. Okay. Got it stable. And you can see down here, I don't know if you can see on stream, but 3.3 degrees is what our vertical bearing is. Here, I'll fly it from this seat so that you can see it better. All right, 3.1. All right, so we'll turn inbound to Gritty. Okay, now we're gonna be looking still 3 degrees on the vertical bearing, which you can see on the ND or on the PFD here correlates to the ILS glide slope, which we're receiving. Okay. We're going to put 290 in the heading in case we have to go around. All right. You can see now we're at 3.1 degrees on the vertical bearing, which correlates to, again, the glide slope. But if we didn't have this glide slope,
1,000.
then we could reference the vertical bearing down here on the FMS. So very useful tool in the real airplane for going into places where, you know, the visual may not have an ILS associated with it. Okay. So there's the bridge. So Sam F, you have to set it up on the descent page. You have to put the runway in. You can't just, the jet won't do it unless you set it up. But if you have it set up right, it'll help you out. All right, let's get the flight recorder recording. All right, got the flight directors off. Autopilot and autothrottle are off. We got 2 red, 2 white. We're clear to land on 29. We're a little fast. That's okay. Okay, we'll scrub those knots off as we roll wings level.
Approaching minimum.
Going a little high. That's all right. It's a short runway, so I'm going to adjust the aim point short a little bit. Okay.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
A little bit of rudder to center it up. There we go, 56 feet a minute. I think we're in the touchdown zone, we'll see. Max reverse, let the nose wheel down. 80 knots, here comes manual braking. Still the reverse. And we'll just roll it to the end. Here we go. Take a look at that on replay. I was happy with it. We did float it out a little bit for the butter, but you know, someone threw down 88 feet per minute in chat, so we had to get the 56. All right, start the clock as you're clearing the runway for the engine cool down. You need 1 minute's desired, 3, or 1 is required, 3 are desired. All right, then we'll turn down here. All right, we'll get the lights. Okay, start switches come to off. Get the strobes. That's the first part of the flow. Flight directors would normally come off. Reset your mins, center your map, turn the terrain off, make sure the captain's weather radar is off. Auto brakes reselected. Run the trim back to 5. Nav radios back, and then transponder. All right, then make sure the V1 doesn't taxi us off the runway here, or off the taxiway. Stow the speed brakes, and then clean the flaps up. Hardest part for you is the bleed panel. Dude, that is the bane of every 737 pilot in history. The you know, F's as you cross the threshold, that's a technique, but before takeoff, flaps, fuel, flight attendants, final approach, fucking bleed panel is the flow, just to make sure that this thing is set appropriately. So we'll fire up the APU. The APU takes 1 minute to start, so we started at 1 minute 30. So if we need 1 minute for it to start, that's 2:30, and then 2 minutes before we introduce bleed air, that's 4:30. So we can turn bleed air on at 4:30 on our chrono. All right. The nice thing about the bleed panel is there is a schematic here. I will do a bleed air tutorial. Actually, there might be a bleed air tutorial on my tutorials that I've already got up. Take a look at that, and if you don't see it, let me know, and I'll record a bleed air panel tutorial, because there is, you know, there is something to it for sure. All right, there's the generator on bus. We'll swap those over. Make sure you're off the brakes. You don't want to do. You want to let the captain know before you do that, because there was one instance where swapping the generator power caused the aircraft to lose the brakes for a couple seconds while the anti-skid system went through a bit. So you don't want to cycle power without letting the captain know. Make sure the airplane's pointed somewhere where, you know, if you did lose the brakes, it wouldn't be catastrophic. So this is a custom scenery, but the jet bridges still look like garbage. So you're gonna have to forgive me. You know, I don't even want to deal with a jet bridge if it looks like that. We're just gonna go to this stand without a jet bridge. Turk, this is the freeware off a TO that looked a lot better than it is now. Well, it's got a custom tower. It doesn't have the Azobo tower. But I should have known when the download size was less than 1 megabyte that it was going to be big. Hey, there's Turk. Look at that. Turk in the Learjet. Look at that. He's got gate-to-gate service, man. Herb Kelleher is going to jump off of our airplane, jump right in his Learjet. That's awesome. There we go. And park and brake. There we go. All right, so we would let them up, shut them down. Not going to do that, but we're at 4 minutes. That's close enough on the bleeds. We would turn the bleeds on and go from there. Oh, God, not Turk. It's Team Vodka. Sorry. Turk was giving me all kinds of flack about the airport terminal, so I had his username on my mind. That's Team Vodka right there. Good old Team Vodka in the FlySimware Lear 35. Just repaying the favor of you cutting me off on final and not being on the correct freak. Oh my gosh. I totally forgot we were on on ATC. I thought you landed hours ago. All right. Well, that's why you don't fly general aviation, folks. People cut you off on final. All right. We just got a couple of geriatrics not talking to each other on the radio freak. All right. Well, Vodka, I'm going to deplane and let some guys jump on the Learjet, and we're going to watch the replay here. So, well, shoot, I thought that you were already on the ground. I kind of wanted to watch your landing. Now they're done. I thought the radio was kind of quiet. Yeah, where were my virtual first officers in chat, man? Not one of you said, hey, check the radio freak. All right, we're disconnecting. We're off network. I'm making calls here, nothing but needs landed. Oh man. I bet the flight violation's in the mail. Alright, replay coming. There we go. Flap 40.
Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't
T-Tucko full flap. Gonna get
Don't
banned
stay
from my
low,
Mayo
terrain.
Premium. Just like Big Sim. And I think it's a rite of passage for all real pilot streamers to get banned from ATC. Yeah, I totally forgot about, what is it? Unicom? All right, Flight Sim School, thanks for the stream, welcome. Learned a ton watching along, makes me miss the 7.3, almost enough to go back to 2020. Hey man, they're coming to 2024. So, all right, resume replay. I got the replay started late, but we'll check it out. Extending flaps on short final, that checks out. It is Southwest. I was on a 7.3 going into Las Vegas one time, landing on one right, and it was a Southwest 7.3, and the flaps didn't stop moving. Like the second they started moving, they went all the way from flap 1 to 40 in one continuous motion as they decelerated. So I would love to have been on the cockpit for that one. Go into the flare. That is a long float. That's a really long float for 6,000 feet. We got a short field kit. 47 feet per minute that time. Here, let me put it on stream so that y'all don't think I'm lying. All right, that looked pretty good. Let's pause the replay and back it up here. Totally hand flown too. Full total manual control of the ship. Where's their equipment? You can see our short field kit. We got our 2-position tail skid extended. Yeah, that was nice. Nose off. Yeah, if someone wants to take a screenshot, post it on the P1 Discord. But were we legal? Okay. All right. Karen is in the house saying that we weren't legal. Let's see. Is there a replay? Too much flip chat. Let's see. Pause as soon as the wheels touch. Right there. You got the puff of smoke. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? That's in the heart of the touchdown zone. The heart of the touchdown zone. It ends way up there. We're fine. Get out of here, Turk. This is not the default airport. This is add-on scenery. This is premium add-on scenery. fs.to, and we have a wheel on the ground and wheel on the ground in the touchdown zone. Legal. Get out of here, Turk. Alrighty, y'all. Thanks for joining me. That was fun. We'll on a short runway with Mark what's considered legal. You really want to be in the first 3,000 feet of the runway. We're the first third, so on the 6,000 foot runway, that'd be 2,000 feet down. So on this runway, you'd want to be down by about 2,000 feet, and you would get performance data that you would run. So you'd send a data link to the company, and the company would say, hey, your latest touchdown point is 2,200 feet long down the runway, and then you'd look at your runway chart and you'd find a landmark 2,200 feet down the runway, and you'd rig that. But anyway, cool. All right, well, we'll play this back. We'll watch it one more time. 28 feet ran on that one, and I'm out of here, chat. We'll see you on the next one. I'm looking for ideas for more streams. So look, I might start an ideas channel in the Discord. You guys can go post your ideas for a stream, and I can go knock them out from there. So anyway, thanks for joining. I appreciate it. I know it was last minute. I appreciate you joining me on this reserve call-out trip up to Portland. And we will see y'all on the next one.